The Shadows of Silent Hill. Prologue: The nightmare begins. The sound of static hissed through the darkness as Harry Mason jerked awake, his head pounding. The steering wheel of his Jeep dug into his chest, the aftermath of the sudden crash. Blinking through the haze, he called out for his daughter, "Cheryl?" But there was no response, only the eerie silence of the misty town that lay beyond the windshield. The small, sleepy town of Silent Hill had swallowed them whole, and Cheryl was gone. Determined to find her, Harry stepped out of the car, the fog closing in around him like a shroud. Silent Hill was not like any town he had ever seen. It was a place where the ordinary became twisted, where nightmares walked the streets. But Cheryl was all that mattered. Harry steeled himself and began his search, unaware of the horrors that awaited him. Chapter 1: The Descent into the Unknown. The streets of Silent Hill were deserted, the fog so thick it seemed to have substance, swallowing sound and light. Harry wandered through the town, calling out for Cheryl, but his voice was lost in the void. The town was a ghost, its buildings dilapidated, its streets cracked and broken. As he ventured deeper, Harry began to notice strange things. Doors that led to nowhere, alleys that twisted and turned in impossible ways, and a strange symbol that seemed to follow him, appearing on walls and floors. The silence was broken by the sound of footsteps echoing through the fog. Harry's heart raced as he turned, expecting to see Cheryl, but instead, he was met with something far more terrifying. A creature, grotesque and unnatural, shuffled towards him. Its skin was pale and stretched tight over its skeletal frame, its eyes hollow, its movements jerky and unnatural. It was as if the town had given birth to a nightmare. Armed only with a rusty steel pipe he had found in a nearby alley, Harry fought off the creature, his mind reeling. What was this place? What had happened to Silent Hill? Chapter 2: The Otherworld. As Harry delved deeper into the town, reality began to unravel. The fog, once oppressive, now seemed almost alive, shifting and changing as if the town itself was watching him. The ground beneath his feet crumbled, revealing twisted, rusted metal and broken wood, as if the town was decaying from the inside out. Then, without warning, the world changed. The fog lifted, but instead of relief, Harry was plunged into a nightmarish version of Silent Hill. The town was now bathed in darkness, the buildings covered in rust and decay, their walls oozing with blood. The air was filled with the sound of grinding metal, and the static on Harry's radio grew louder, signaling the approach of something horrible. Silent Hill's monsters were more grotesque in this world, as if they had been pulled from the darkest corners of Harry's mind. In this other world, the line between reality and nightmare was blurred, and Harry realized that the town was more than just a place. It was alive, and it was feeding on his fear. Chapter 3: The Secrets of Silent Hill. As Harry searched for Cheryl, he uncovered the town's dark past. Silent Hill was once home to a cult that worshipped a dark deity, believing that through rituals and sacrifice, they could bring about the rebirth of their god. The cult's influence was still felt in the town, their symbols and altars scattered throughout, as if the town itself was a shrine to their madness. But Harry's connection to Silent Hill ran deeper than he realized. Cheryl was not just his daughter, she was a part of the town's twisted history. The cult had used Cheryl in their rituals, trying to bring their god into the world through her. But something had gone wrong, and Cheryl had been split into two halves, one innocent, one dark. The dark half, Alessa, had been hidden away by the cult, while Cheryl had been sent to the outside world to live a normal life. But now, the two halves were being drawn back together, and Silent Hill was the battleground. As Harry uncovered the truth, he realized that the town was trying to merge the two halves, to complete the ritual and bring the god into the world. But he would not let that happen. Cheryl was his daughter, and he would do anything to protect her. Chapter 4: The Final Confrontation. Harry's journey led him to the heart of Silent Hill, where the lines between the real world and the other world blurred completely. The town's influence was strongest here, warping reality around him. The ground beneath his feet was unstable, shifting between rusted metal and broken concrete, while the walls dripped with blood. The creatures that hunted him were more monstrous than ever, their forms twisted and broken, as if they were the embodiment of the town's madness. In the final moments, Harry faced Alessa, the dark half of Cheryl, in a place that defied description, a twisted, nightmarish version of the town's central church. The air crackled with dark energy, and the symbols of the cult glowed with a malevolent light. Alessa was both powerful and fragile, a manifestation of the pain and suffering that Silent Hill had inflicted upon her. Harry realized that the only way to save Cheryl was to reunite the two halves. But in doing so, he risked completing the ritual that the cult had begun. With no other choice, he confronted Alessa, not with violence, but with love. He reached out to her, calling her by Cheryl's name, reminding her of the life she had before the town took her. For a moment, the darkness lifted. Alessa's eyes softened and she hesitated. But the town was not ready to let go. It fought back, the ground cracking open, the walls closing in. But Harry held on, refusing to let the town win. In a final act of defiance, Alessa and Cheryl merged, their combined will breaking the town's hold on them. The nightmare world began to collapse, the ground crumbling away, the walls disintegrating. Harry held Cheryl close as the world around them dissolved, the darkness receding. Epilogue: The Aftermath. Harry awoke in the middle of the foggy road, Cheryl by his side. The town of Silent Hill was gone, as if it had never existed. The fog was lifting, revealing a normal, peaceful town beneath. But Harry knew better. Silent Hill was not truly gone. It was still out there, waiting for the next soul to stumble into its grasp. As they walked away from the town, Harry held Cheryl's hand tightly, vowing never to let her go again. But even as they left Silent Hill behind, Harry could not shake the feeling that the town was not finished with them. Silent Hill was a place where nightmares were born, and nightmares had a way of following you, no matter how far you ran. And so, father and daughter left Silent Hill, but a part of the town stayed with them, a shadow in the corners of their minds, a whisper in the dark. The nightmare was over, but the memories would never fade. Silent Hill had left its mark, and its story was far from over.